What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to Channel 99 today. We have my boy Brett Dayne. He is an actor. He is a musician. He is a writer. He is a jack of all trades. We talk about all three of those. The influences, the type of stuff that he likes to work on, new projects, some of all the cool famous people that he gets to hang out with. We didn't talk about your Chicago Vice, or whatever it is. Yeah. So we'll talk about that. Do you want to talk about that?
Chicago Vice. I just found out. So this is really cool. So the show itself is similar to like NCIS. So there'll be different regions. I think they broke it out into like Seattle, LA, Las Vegas, New Orleans, and Atlanta. I just found out I'll be on Seattle.
Oh, dude.
Yeah,
awesome.
So I'm pretty excited about that because ironically, as a musician, I hung out in Seattle a lot, got to play there. So it's kind of like I get to go back to my old stomping ground. I love the fact that I'm playing Detective Brett Jackson. So I don't know if I get to keep my first name, but for now, I think that's, kind of cool. But
That's cool.
yeah, at one point in time, they were talking about I'd kind of be the guy that kind of crosses over the line to get the job done. So I kind of like being, a little bit edgier, so to speak. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to that.
But Ascendant Studios is the one that's doing it. Most of the filming will be done in L.A. With some on-location filming. So, anyway, look for that this coming year. Of course, like any project, you wish it was happening now, but it takes forever to work through the legalities. But
licensing and all that kind of stuff with filming inside cities and all this stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. All right, sweet. We'll make sure that you subscribe, give us 5 stars. Pass this episode along. You hear that in the beginning and end of every one of my shows. So do it. Don't fucking do it. But anyways, thanks for listening in and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Nice.
Go ahead and shred real quick.
All right, we'll do it. Yeah.
Melt my face.
Shut up and sit down.
Writing.
Yeah, you really do everything. Start with what, so wait, hold on. Give me that whole list. Everybody who's listening right now, this is Brett Dayne.
Yes.
And I know Brett through acting. We worked on a couple things together. No, wait, have we ever worked on anything together?
I don't know if we've ever
I don't think we actually have worked together.
But I have come and seen your stuff. So
yeah,
when
we've supported one another.
Parallel Worlds, I think.
That's right. Okay.
Was the studio you're working with, and yeah, you've done a lot of great stuff.
Thanks. Those guys, they messaged me not too long ago, and they're like, we're thinking about just getting back into the video scene for some fun little projects on our off time.
Oh, that'd be great.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would.
So I know they have a few ideas already like drawn up because they're always brainstorming. Him and Jake Smith. So talking to Anthony Blaine.
Yes.
Yeah, Jake Smith. So, but yeah. So you were talking about tomorrow. You're doing a commercial for Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's actually for I don't know if I can actually say the name yet, but yeah, it's going to be kind of something similar to the Bitcoin phenomena that's kind of happening now out in the marketplace, and it is becoming more popular. But great little role, kind of going to be a sophisticated nerd that knows about that sort of stuff. So I've had to study up and trying to memorize that script.
Is it an app that they're releasing or something like that?
I think it's more to support the business itself.
Okay.
So they're doing some things that are very innovative, and it'll be interesting to see how it all comes, together.
Totally. And this is
So-
is it a tech company that you're working for?
It is actually
Okay.
a tech company. So
Cool.
yeah.
That's awesome. I know that I think there were some people from the Valley who were getting together to do like a beer crypto coin or something like
Oh,
that,
wow.
where you could use these coins at different breweries around wherever that accepted the
okay.
coins, and I don't know if you can mine them. I don't know how it works, but it was an app, and they were
Yeah.
promoting it for quite a while. I don't know if it was probably earlier this year, I think.
Yeah.
But I was kind of interested on how that did, and I never followed up. I should probably look into that.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating technology. It's something I need to kind of dig into a little bit more. You do get hit up every once in a while to find out a little bit more about what it all represents, and I think I kind of have a good idea of it. But
Yeah. Cryptocurrency kind of almost turned into like a multi-level marketing thing.
yeah,
It did, yeah.
It did.
I have friends like trying to recruit people to like do crypto stuff.
Yeah.
And I never understood that because I thought it was a sham when it came out. I was not a sham per se, but I thought it was kind of like, well, monopoly money.
yeah,
I was like, I don't know how it works, and everything that I'm doing right now seems to work okay. So, and I'm very traditional with my investments as far as I do like mutual funds, and then I do day trading. I have
Yeah.
like some fun money that I throw around in a day trading
Nice.
account, but that's about it, man.
Yeah.
And so the whole crypto thing, it kind of freaked me out.
Well,
still does, but
and it kind of
'cause
came
I've
on
lost a lot of
strong.
what I
Yeah,
put into
right.
it.
No,
Even when it was low, according to when I invested, it was supposed to be low. So
yeah, and I remember last year when we were down at Sundance, it seemed to have some traction going then, and there
Yeah.
were quite a few different teams kind of representing and trying to get people more educated, I guess you'd say, on what it was all about. So I was kind of like, well, maybe it's actually going to have an impact in our world. So
yeah, it has, and I think it will continue to gain in popularity because it is easy.
yeah,
The only problem, in my opinion, is it fluctuates way too much, and it'd be difficult as a
sure.
business owner and like a small business owner to try to make sure that you hit those margins. Because
Yeah.
if you sell, let's say Fridays are the best days, and unfortunately Friday was the one day that Bitcoin bit the dust.
Yeah. Then
Yeah.
people are jumping off
Yeah.
buildings, and it's like,
Yeah.
woo!
'Cause they didn't sell enough hammers, But yeah, who knows? We'll see. A few
Yeah.
years from now, it's widely accepted. I've been to some retailers and you can use it. I'm invested in an actual physical credit card that allows you to program it to all of your cryptocurrency.
Oh, nice.
So you just insert it. Well, you click the button. It's got a little LED, like a little tiny screen on it.
Uh-huh.
And you click on it and it shows you which currency you're using, which crypto.
Oh, wow.
So whatever you want to pay with, and
Yeah.
then you just put it in and it
Nice.
pays for it. Yeah. So I invested in that company,
Yeah.
but it's failing.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Sounds like cool technology, though.
It does, yeah. Well, and I think some people are going to start going away from physical cards. I don't use a physical card, and
Yeah.
the guy who pitched this company to me, he uses it because he uses it for travel, and he got like a travel one where you gained like
Yeah.
travel points on it. I think it might even be like a Visa card that you can program or something
Oh,
like
wow.
that. I no idea, but the one that he has, this is what he has.
Yeah.
So he gets travel points with it, and he uses that. But he's the one who got me interested in it, and at the time I was like, I use Samsung Pay for literally everything except paying gas.
Yeah.
Like if you look at my credit card statement, it's like online purchases and gas. Everything else is going to be like through Samsung Pay. I just
Sure.
scan it through because I get like 4 times the points, right?
Yeah.
It's only logical.
No, that's a good way to
Get
go.
hooked up.
Yep.
It's easy. I
Yeah.
don't have to carry my wallet unless I need to get ID'd.
Yeah. Nothing better than free.
Totally.
Yeah, so build the points and then go for it.
Exactly right. So anyways, let's talk about this crypto thing. So you said it was kind of a geeky role.
Kind of a geeky role. I like things that kind of push the envelope a little bit and are a little different than what I've done before. And so this kind of just fit. I've done some commercials locally. I've had kind of a good run since I decided to, jump into the acting thing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a cool little story. I ended up doing a lot of like training videos and stuff for Hewlett Packard on their new products, and I had a very nerd job back then. It was actually doing competitive intelligence as a marketing analyst, and then they said, hey, we need somebody to be the guy that kind of film and does the training films for Hewlett Packard's new releases for LaserJet products. And so somehow I ended up doing that and really enjoyed it. But one of the guys that was a producer there kept saying, hey, you should be an actor. And I'm like, I'm in Boise, Idaho. How can you be an actor in Boise, Idaho? Well, after kind of looking into it later on, when HP decided to split the company and some of our jobs went away, it kind of put me in a position where I needed to look around, and found an actor online in LinkedIn and reached out to her, and she basically steered me in the right direction. And I started going to the actors workout that was basically being ran by Brandon Freeman. And
where was that at?
At the time they had it, I think it was called the Alaska Building downtown.
I think Trinity invited me to some of those classes,
Yeah.
and I couldn't make it because I just started my job.
No, in fact, Trinity May, who is a very accomplished actress in her own right and has done many commercials.
Yeah, she's been on the show.
She's the one that actually got me started going and got me hooked and loved it ever since, and now we're business partners.
Yeah,
So-
I love Trinity. She's a great person.
She is.
Yeah, she's awesome. Very genuine. So
Yep.
you've got so you've never done anything so geeky yet. What was your favorite role you've done so far? Paid gig.
So paid, I mean, for experience, because I remember there was a time when I was getting into more of the producing aspect of film, I wanted to see how it was done more on a higher level. And so I actually ended up on Andy Mack for Disney over in Utah, and I'm actually represented out of Utah through an agency called Elevate Talent. And went down there, did that.
What did you do on the show? Sorry.
I had two different roles. I think one of the roles was sports dad, and so I was right next to their main star, Andy Mack. I actually saw the episode. It was kind of funny that I wasn't there for very long, but then they'd keep showing this previews where I was actually in the previews. So it was kind of, well, it was a little bit of an acknowledgement. And then the other role, I played a doctor, and I think most of my role was edited out on that one. But realistically, when I went down there, it was more just to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, I got to go down to L.A. and work on a pilot with Brian Jagger, and continued to build my knowledge base of producing just by going and getting my hands dirty and working as crew. So I'm actually trained on both sides of the camera. And while I was down there in L.A., I had the privilege of being the script supervisor for Rance Howard, who is Ron Howard's dad, and right before he passed away. And that was quite a unique privilege to get to know someone that's been in the industry for that long.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I've had a lot of cool opportunities, done a lot of short films, festival films, that sort of thing. And we just recently had an opportunity to see a bunch of those films on the big screen through Newton to Newton Productions, that decided to kind of hold his own festival and of some of the stuff that he had worked on. And it was a great opportunity to see what the Boise scene's all about when it comes to acting, filmmaking, and producing films, and it was a great time.
Has the quality of content produced here in the Valley, has it changed significantly in the last like few years?
I would say most definitely.
Yeah.
A couple of different factors that play into that. Number one, people have gotten more experience doing a lot of this stuff. There's some other people that have actually come to town, like Katrine McGregor, who's produced bigger projects here. And there's been more acting classes available, like through April Matson, that people can attend and really get kind of the LA experience of acting training at a higher level. And in addition to that, I think, gear, plays a big important part. Some people would say, no, it really doesn't, but I think you can make anything work, but I've seen a lot of Mini Ursa Pros being used. I think there's some people now that are actually using Arri Alexas, and so the quality of equipment's come up, so therefore the quality of the filming looks much better. We've gotten better at color grading. There's really some great filmmakers here that have come a long way in a very short amount of time, so I'm kind of proud to say I'm a part of that film community.
Yeah. No, it's super cool. So are reds still pretty popular, or are those kind of just like standard nowadays?
Well, of course, they cost an arm and a leg, and everything you need to kind of go into the package is not cheap. And so there are a few people around that do have reds, and they do look great. I mean, the quality really delivers. But I don't think that's the only solution out there. But, it's kind of, you do what you have to do, and if you're passionate about making film, there's a lot of options there that you can still produce, some good quality content. And it's a lot of fun to be a part of that.
That was way cool. Is Jake Full of Love still in the scene?
I haven't seen Jake in a while. I hope so, because he was a very talented individual and definitely knew his way around direction.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed getting to know him. I think I worked on one thing with him. I think you did too, if I recall correctly. But
yeah, I did some storyboarding art for one of his Boise State projects that he did for like a commercial for him. And then I also was a doctor in one of their commercials.
Nice.
Yeah. And then he also helped with the For Hire series that we did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because we started filming with his red dragon.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, I remember actually seeing that.
Because he had a couple of them. He had like a red, like ruby or something.
What was that? I know which one you're talking about.
It was like the dragon, and then the one right before that.
The one before it, yeah. Trying to blank right now, but
yeah. And their hard disks like failed.
Oh.
And it killed like a 5-year project.
Oh no.
It didn't really kill it, but it like turned up like 4 full episodes, like hour-long episodes, into like 1 hour and 15-minute long episode, like short movie, an hour long, something like that. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but that happens.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing they could have done to prevent that. It was just a very unfortunate thing to have happened with all the red footage we had. And
definitely.
But they did a pretty good job. I think they screened it. I went to one screening, and then I think they also screened it at the Boise Film Festival back in like 2016.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and I think it actually won an award there or something. I don't know.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, something. Who knows?
Yeah.
That was a fun project, though. I had a blast with those guys. That was cool.
Yeah.
All right, so then what else do you have lined up? So you got this commercial. You're making a living off of being an actor right now. You're full-time, yeah?
So I am. It's kind of been one of those things where, every once in a while I have to jump back into the corporate world. And I think you and I have talked about some of my background. So, it was corporate America with Hewlett-Packard for the longest time. And actually got to go down and build a LaserJet call center there in Costa Rica for them.
That's cool.
Lived there for a couple of years. It was beautiful. Loved it. I do actually speak Spanish, which is kind of a unique sort of thing, I guess. But I made a lot of friends down there, and some are actually in the film industry now. So it's kind of great to watch the progress and keep in touch with them. And then, of course, I've had an opportunity to do some work down in L.A., not as much as I would like to. There's been some kind of cool opportunities for auditions over in Salt Lake City. Of course, they're filming Westworld, would be one. Yellowstone with Kevin Costner was another one that I had an opportunity to actually audition for. But you know how it is. I mean, if you're not the right fit, then you're not the guy that gets the part. But
Right.
still great experience. I mean, that's the way you have to look at it. Whenever you go out and you do an audition, you give it your all, you go prepared, you go on time, you be professional, and hope for the best.
So how do you get leads on tryouts?
So usually with me, I have a really good agent that seemed to be able to have an in on the stuff that was important coming through. Of course, the thing I would recommend to everybody, if you don't have a reel, you need to work towards that. I've been very fortunate to be in enough projects that I have a pretty good reel. Of course, when you're an actor, you never feel like you're good enough, so it's always that perpetual got to become better, keep working at it, keep studying.
Self-competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, but the reel, I think, helped open some doors for me. But I just keep plugging away. I'm also a firm believer that, opportunities aren't always going to be there and coming to you. So about 2 years ago is when I kind of got more interested into writing and developing my own content and producing. And we've actually done producing pretty much the way you would see done on a Hollywood set, by really kind of sticking to the rigor of, what a first AD does and, getting all the right crew together to do that sort of stuff at a higher level, because I think the discipline of doing that will actually help Idaho become even better, and better suited for other productions that may want to come to Idaho and, hire people to do that sort of thing.
Where does the money come from when you're working on those types of projects?
A lot of
large corporations, or are they from the state, or are they out of state that somehow they source you from, I don't know, an agency that contacts you? How does that work?
Well, it kind of depends. So there are times that you're self-funding a lot of your own stuff, and you hope you have enough friends that'll support you, and there's other opportunities that might be payment deferred. If it's a project I believe in, sometimes it's not so much about the money, it's more about the project. On the bigger opportunities that I've seen, like down in LA and then also in Salt Lake, those typically do pay. And those are really nice. And but right now I'm kind of learning that next level, where a lot of the prep I'm doing is more in line with doing pitch decks and that sort of thing, where you're actually getting in front of investors and trying to pitch different projects. And so it's not something that is easily learned being in Boise, Idaho, but you leverage from your resources and your contacts. And, it's a never-ending kind of a game of getting out there, getting to know people, and finding out who are the influencers, who are the connectors that you can work with to be able to basically, expand your foundation and be able to do those sorts of things. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
So with like strategic marketing, you worked in strategic marketing, is that what you said?
I was more the marketing analyst that, yes, I was engaged in some of the strategic aspects of marketing.
But you were more of like an analyst.
Yeah, more of an analyst, trying to find out where the trends were heading on, in the tech industry.
Syndicated data, panel data, what did you use?
It was all internal at the time. It's been a while since I've done it.
Gotcha.
So we were building basically an online library, so people could go reference and find out, where did they sit in the verticals, who were the customer install base for, the different printer products
certain
that were being
metrics
sold.
They could pull.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And like prefabbed reports that they could just punch out.
Well, and there was a lot of that, but we actually had our own labs that were testing competitor products that we would be able to run comparisons to and look at the data and then basically
performance data.
performance data.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was thinking more or less like demographic and psychographic profiling with like
there
customers.
there was a lot of that being done too, but in a different department.
You're talking more technological data.
Yeah, so we were more interested in like how many pages were printed per minute.
Okay. That's cool, man.
Consumable consumption and that sort of thing with,
how much ink is being run versus the competitor. Yeah. Oh, that's
we're
cool.
all about toner, but
or whatever.
Yeah, nerd stuff.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Toner versus ink. What's the difference?
Toner is just a completely different technology versus the ink, which is jetted on the paper.
And is a toner like a paper?
No,
like
the toner is like it's usually a
laser?
substrate that goes on where the laser basically connects with light on an exposed drum. It's kind of complicated, so I don't want to put everybody into snooze land here.
No, I think that's cool.
And actually, I haven't even looked at that stuff for a while now, but yeah, it was kind of interesting. I mean, those that are interested in following their passion and following their dreams, I mean, you just have to come to the point where that's what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of us that are very creative and want to follow that sort of lifestyle. We become firm believers in the universe and what we attract in our lives, and then just focus in on what it is we want to accomplish. And so, but it's not enough to just, wish for something. You've got to work, and you got to work hard if you want to accomplish it. So, but then, miraculously, it'll seem like doors are opening for you to make those opportunities actually come.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, I think people who are in a position to essentially promote you to that next level,
yes,
they understand the hard work that goes into obtaining that level of expertise. And so I mean, as long as you grind and you work hard, then eventually somebody who's in a position to take you to that next level, whether it's in mentorship or an investment or whatever it is, they will see that drive and they'll want to invest their time and effort into it.
And that's a really good point.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think a lot of people assume that if you're successful or if you have money or whatever, I think they automatically assume that either it was given to you or you didn't work hard for it. And I mean, dude, to be honest with you, I work a lot of hours in a day.
Yeah.
More than I should.
Yeah.
Yeah. More than what is good for like a normal person.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, and it's interesting you say that because in the corporate world, I was kind of the same way. And when I was down in in Costa Rica and working my rear off, even though I was in this beautiful country with volcanoes and beaches and, I definitely wish I was out exploring as opposed to being stuck in a office, because I was up at 6 a.m. Trying to beat the traffic in, and then usually out at 7 and then entertaining, visiting guests, from the corporate office later at night. So it was almost never ending through the week, but great experience, loved it. But I'm kind of that way with everything. So, even in the acting field, even what we're doing now, I mean, some of the stuff that I'm writing content for, I could be up every night until 2, 3 in the morning because I know I've got a deadline or something that I need to get stuff done. I do wish I had more time to write scripts. I do have several that I've written, but they're kind of on the back burner at the moment as far as getting them produced. But I want to do them right when the timing's right. Want to be able to pay people to actually work and do that sort of thing. So I think when the time comes, I'll have that opportunity. So I'll just have to kind of be patient for now. But realistically, just working hard, trying to get a new project off the ground. Can't go into a lot of detail about it yet, but I'm, hoping everything works out the way, we want it to. And we've been doing a lot of traveling on behalf of that project, and hopefully we'll be able to share something soon.
Cool, man. Well, if you need a platform, just come on over with whoever you need to come on over with, and we can always push it out to my listeners because I'm sure they'd be super interested. What was that question I was going to ask you? Dang it, man. I
Well,
had a really good question lined up.
Was it about music?
Well, kind of. It was about the writing and the lineup of stuff, because I write like novellas. I'm writing like 4 of them.
Nice.
Yeah. And my question was, what type of stuff do you like to write? Are you like into drama, comedy, and do you use a program to write it, or do you freehand it? As far as like, do you like literally go into just Microsoft Word and you just punch in the line, enter, punch in the line, enter, punch in the line, enter? Because don't they have programs that like work
Yeah,
through
they
that?
do. And I do have a favorite one, and right now I'm drawing a blank as to what it is because I never really think about it. I just log in and start using it. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of good programs that are almost like intelligent to some degree, because they kind of help aid you and guess what it is you're trying to write, and so that
Grammatically, or
not
does
so
it
much
kind of-
grammatically. I mean, there's a spell checker to it and everything, but what I really like about the program, and I'll probably remember which one
Just
it is
prompts
here in a minute.
things?
Yeah, it prompts things. It aligns everything so that's in the proper format. When you're kind of doing dialogue between characters, it sets it up so that you can kind of switch back and forth. So it makes it a little easier and faster. So you're focused more on the creativity part as opposed to figuring out how to
Structural part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But as far as what I write, I think one of the ones that I really enjoyed writing is kind of more of an action type project. Has kind of element of CIA operative sort of thing. Probably not a real popular thing to write, but I have written stuff that I feel is a little bit more on the meaningful side, that hopefully I can get produced at some point in time. And sometimes you got to start small. I mean, some of the short films are a lot of fun. They can go off to festivals. I just recently wrote a story that's horror genre, so I'm kind of looking forward to getting that written. And there's a good writer that I want to partner up with, named Randy Reese, that's been
What type of
winning. Kind of
like a slasher, or like a...
No, I don't want to focus so much on the gore. I'm kind of more of the content kind of guy. So I love a good story, but it's got a creep element to it.
You should do interdimensional stuff.
Ooh,
geek
wouldn't
on
that
that.
be cool?
I
Yeah.
geek on that stuff.
Do you
Yeah,
really?
Totally, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I've always wanted to write my stories that I'm currently writing in a movie format and pitch them, because I think some of them are kind of cool.
Nice.
My mom thinks they're pretty dark.
Oh.
Not all of them, though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of death.
Oh,
But not
gotcha.
all of it's like bad death. Some of it's some of it's like, I don't know. I think some of my stories are unique.
Yeah.
And I would like to learn how to write them, which is why I was asking you, do you use a program? Are there programs out there? Like,
Yeah,
'cause
there's-
I'd love to just read through what I've written, because I'm like 80 pages into one.
Oh, okay.
And I would love to just start over with that, with a script, and just send it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like 30 minutes a day, dedicate 30 minutes of my time before I go to bed. Just chalk up like 1 to 2 pages every single night. So,
Well, and there's even some shareware type stuff, free programs out there that you can actually use that are pretty good. But I think the one I used was only like $49, and it works great, and it gets updated periodically. And I wish I could say what the name is right off.
what do you mean, like a share one? Kind of like an iTunes for books?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And those all seem to work just fine.
And I have one. I'm on BookWriter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I have those books uploaded there, and every time I like save it and publish it as a draft, I'll publish it up to there, and people will comment and stuff like that.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
I think the real key, though, is you just got to do it.
I know. That's my problem, is
Yeah.
like finding the time to do it.
Yeah.
Because I want to learn how to play guitar, which gets us into
Oh,
music.
nice.
Yeah. Because you came over stoked, and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're stoked, because some people come over to my house, and I feel like they think it's a chore to come over and like hang out and play music. And the moment you showed up, you plugged right in. You're like, hey, where can I set this up? Like,
Yeah.
ready to jam. So,
Well, and that's me. For those that know me, I'm a creative junkie. So it's kind of like I can't get enough of the creation process. And so for many years, I played with a band called Half the World, and we did actually get to do some touring on a regional basis. And so we built kind of a nice little following over in Seattle, and would hit Portland and Spokane, and
what years
and back to Boise.
were that?
I would say we hit it hard about 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay, so this is pretty recent.
Yeah, fairly recent, and we've gotten to open probably for more famous bands than I could even count. And it was really cool. We've gotten to open for 80s bands, which, when you go and do some of that stuff, it's kind of nostalgic. But I remember Great White was one that was a lot of fun to play with. Cinderella. Can't think of some of the other oldies, but then when that new rock hit, that was kind of our jam. And I remember getting to open for like Flyleaf.
That's cool.
Yeah, they were actually really cool. What were some others? Drowning Pool, Red, Seven Dust over in Missoula, a band called Carnival out of Australia was a fun one that we got to play with over in Seattle, which was really cool.
What kind of music did they play?
They were very progressive, probably ahead of their time actually, but they were, their music was very complex, but it was on a metal type, not strong, heavy type metal, but, much like what you kind of, I think they were kind of a pre-periphery in a way. So I really got off on them just mainly because the guitar players were so great. And that's really kind of where I'm at. You won't find me memorizing a lot of lyrics from, other bands, because I'm always focused on what the guitars are doing or what the bass is doing. And so I'm also kind of multifaceted when it comes to that sort of stuff and creating music. And I've been able to write and do that stuff on my own as well. So,
how'd you learn how to play guitar?
it was one of those things where I started out as a son of a piano teacher, and so I started piano when I was 5 and was playing college level when I was in 3rd grade.
What? Do you want to play some piano here too? I can lace up the lapel. It'll take 2 seconds.
You know what? So here's the story. So playing college level and doing big clinic type stuff when you're in the 3rd grade, I got burned out very quickly. And so I basically refused to play any more piano, and
I respect that, man.
Switched to the guitar. I wish I could play piano now. I can play a little bit, just kind of by ear, but that was kind of the paradigm shift in my life, in my childhood, that when they expect you to basically practice the piano for like hours on end, it got to be too much.
I respect that, man, because I gave up the piano like junior year in high school.
Oh, did you?
And I felt like I was forced to play all the time.
Yeah.
And now, looking back on it, I was like, man, I still play decent.
Yeah.
I can pick up and play like some mediocre like Beethoven, Mozart songs.
Oh, nice.
Bach, like, nothing crazy, but I mean, like, the Adagio, Sostenuto, movements or whatever you want to call them. I don't even know what to call them.
Yeah.
But the way I learned was very, I don't know if unorthodox is like a term you could use, but like I learned bar by bar. So I would learn like, basically I'd memorize each bar.
Oh, gotcha.
So like I learned how to play difficult songs very quickly, but it was only through memorization. So I would play like, bar over and over and over again, and then I'd play the next bar over and over again, and then I would listen to the song, and then I'd play the next bar and memorize it.
Yeah.
And it would take the same amount of time to like learn it and memorize it as it would if somebody were able to sight read it slowly.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to sight read.
No,
that's my problem.
That was me too. I hated sight reading because it just kind of slowed me down.
Yeah.
And if I could hear it, then usually I could play it. So
see, and I can't do that on the piano.
Yeah.
I just can't. And I played for a long time, but the way I was trained wasn't to play like that. It was like, these are the notes, and this is how you play it, and this is how you learn it.
Period. And that's why I think you'd probably adapt pretty quickly to guitar. You know, people that have the fundamentals from keyboard, it's easily transferable, and you never know where it can take you. You know,
it's the suppressed creativity.
Yes.
Because because you played like very difficult songs on piano, but it was never like, it was just, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I'm having difficulty right now.
Oh.
But I'm saying it was suppressed because I couldn't let go on a piano. I didn't know the piano well enough on that level to be able to just play freely.
Yeah.
You know, like some people can play like that. I feel like the guitar, once I pick it up and start playing, it'll be, again, easier to translate my creativity from the piano to the guitar, because it's probably, we're already trained so well with our hands anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume you're using 5 less fingers unless you're a picker.
I can pick. I don't do it a lot as far as individual finger picking, you know, but it is kind of a nice skill to have, especially if you're playing acoustic. But like for this thing, I don't know if I'm too loud here. I'm going to blow out the ears of your audience.
You're totally fine. I've already tuned it.
But when I first started playing and stuff, I think like a lot of people, when everybody heard Van Halen and, you know, they wanted to do all the stuff that they were doing, so like you'd always be doing this finger tapping thing where...
Oh, wait. Dude, hold on. So the finger tapping, you just tap your finger on those?
Yeah, you just tap. Sometimes I'll use a pick, you know, where you're just kind of like... You know, so it's a lot of fun. I love the creative process, love writing music. Did it with my band for many years. Then we later on just kind of changed the style of our music. We were a female-fronted band, kind of went through different genres to some degree, but really kind of settled in on more like the new rock type stuff, and Evanescence when they came out and were pretty big. At one point we actually had gone all the way up to the president of various labels and thought we were going to make it for sure. And
this is Vindicata?
It was then still Half the World, but we basically converted our name over to Vindicata because we went with kind of a different style and flavor to our music, but still in essence, with our lead singer, you know, we still kind of had that special sound, and she really was a phenomenal singer, still is, of course, but I'm no longer with the band. Other than we do have a CD that just was released about 2 weeks ago that features Chris Pullen from Megadeth doing his soloing on kind of a compilation of 3 different albums that we worked on, and he kind of pick and chose the songs that he wanted to play on, and turned out to be quite a great album. So, and I love hearing him solo. I mean, he's just an incredible guitar player.
How did you guys approach him? Like, how does that work?
You know, they actually approached us, and there was a guy that I guess they had done some similar stuff with other guitar players and stuff that had been in the industry, and so one of them happened to be friends of the manager of Chris Pullen, and I think that's how the connection was made, and they loved the sound of Mary McGill's voice. A lot of people here in town probably know her more from Soul Purpose, that has played down in, I think, the Thursday Thunder over at the Edwards Theater through the summer. I know they got to do that quite a bit, and I think she's one of the divas of Boise as well, and has sang with Rocky Johnson, and she's done a lot of really great things locally in the community. So, but she has a phenomenal voice, great voice for rock music too. So
she does have a really good voice.
Yeah.
The one song you sent me the link, and there was one song that I was really getting into. I listened to it like 5 times when I was driving.
Oh, cool.
It was hold on. No, that one reminded me. Sorry.
That's
song,
Leap of Faith. I actually
that one's
wrote
a great
that
song. Yeah, it's a great song. And I was gonna mention to you, it kind of reminds me. That kind of sounds like Sum 41, like kind of like a punky influence at first.
That's a good call, because when I wrote that song, it was about at that time when Sum 41 came out.
Really?
They were a big influence.
Like 2007,
Yeah,
2006.
It's been a little while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And then the other one I really liked was the Would You.
Oh, yeah.
That one's a great song.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was cool. And then I listened to Super Megalithic. I did not listen to Death Defying Years or Time, just because
okay.
I was like just driving home and I was clicking on the ones, and it only took me like 15 minutes to get home. 10 minutes, yeah. So, anyways, I like it. You guys have, at least the band itself has like a very unique style, because it goes from like that punk style, for instance, like that more like mainstream punk, to a like a metal band, and then you guys ballad it out in that song.
Yeah.
Right? There's like a ballad. It's almost like a ballad, right?
Yeah,
Am I
it
right?
is.
Yeah. Okay.
There is like a ballad on there, and then I don't know if we got any of the newer music as Vindicata on there. I'll have to go back and take a look at it, but we're one of those type of people. We never got fixated on just one genre of music, so we kind of changed with the times. Only because I remember when I was writing, I was constantly looking for the next big thing, and where was music headed. And I remember when Kill Switched Engaged came out, my mind was just blown.
Really? You like those
when
guys,
they came out. Yeah, and so then that kind of spawned me listening to a lot of different people like Seosin, and back in the day when they were doing their thing, and now it's just, I'm trying to think who I really love lately that I've been listening to, but I'm always listening to new stuff, and so in the rock world, I love where the direction's gotten, because some of the guitar has just become so complex, and my mind is just blown on how people could write music like that. So, yeah.
How do you write your music? Just by ear? You just go off of what sounds good, and then you just fold it until you like create.
Kinda. I mean, dough. Yeah, a lot of times I'll just be kind of practicing to keep my fingers nimble, so to speak, and keep my speed up, and all of a sudden I'll come onto a riff, and then the next thing you know, I'm developing it into a song. And if it kind of sticks, I've probably lost a lot of songs just because I didn't pick up a recorder, and when I should have. But a lot of times, if it's something that's really striking a chord with me, I'll end up just kind of memorizing it, and the next thing you know, it's a developed song. So.
Do you play any jazz or blues or anything like that?
There was a time in my life when, I think it was back in high school, I was in like the blues kind of band thing, and so I played guitar for them. And
could you play anything right now? Any bluesy or jazzy stuff?
Wow. Probably.
I could hook up my Telecaster if you want that. It's all tuned in.
Yeah, let's see. How do I switch channels on this thing? Go to
Dude, that is such a sick guitar, by the way.
Yeah. Okay.
What is that?
This one's actually a Schecter, but let me see if we have any sound.
We do.
Anyway.
That's cool.
I don't know. I think it's sounding more country.
It's very twangy. Can you play country?
Oh, I probably could if I had to. It's not something I do a lot. I do like new country, but I haven't really spent a lot of time. And I'll be honest, since I kind of got into acting, my poor guitar's kind of collected a little bit of dust lately.
There. Yeah. That's very bluesy.
It is. I wish
love
I was
that.
better at it, but
That's pretty fucking good. That's really good, man. But you mostly, your heart lies in like just rock, right?
well, it did. I mean, ironically, what I'm listening to in the car a lot of time is just typical pop and hip hop, and so I kind of like everything, and so I don't know if I can really settle in and say that there's only one style of music I like, but yeah, just I kind of go with the times. I think that's the best way to kind of describe where my interests lie.
So would you say that your style's transformed over the years?
Definitely.
Has it transformed as far as like complexity or variation or both?
I wish I'd transformed a little bit more on the complexity side, because I know I have the ability to do it. It's just, I haven't had the time to do it.
And what's the next step? Like, what would be more complex than what you showed me? Because you've shredded. Even before the show, like people haven't even heard like what you warmed up with, unless you're following me on Instagram at Jack of All Tims. Yeah. Follow me and watch his video on my story.
Well, yeah, that's a really good question. There's just some bands out there that are just mind-blowingly good, and it started kind of with the Periphery movement, and then there's a lot of different bands.
What's the Periphery movement?
So Periphery, when they came out, they just had this.
Is that a band?
They are a band.
Oh, okay. And it's like their style.
Yeah, their
like,
style is just like a whole nother level.
How so?
And mainly by the level of talent, maybe. They were just so insanely good that
together they were good,
together.
Or like okay,
yeah, and their playability was just like mind-blowingly good. And
what
so
kind of music?
then,
sorry, I'm like totally interrupting you.
No, you're okay. I'm trying to think of something that they did that's really popular. I think you'd almost have to go out and just kind of listen and find them on YouTube. And,
yeah. Well, like.
But
what's their name again? Sorry, the what?
Periphery. Just
movement.
Periphery.
Call it.
Yeah, so you would like them, because I know some of the other type of music you like, and
yeah.
Okay,
keep talking though. I'm looking them up real quick.
All right,
but
yeah,
you were gonna.
dude.
I know you were gonna.
Yeah,
jam.
I was just getting ready to kind of shred, because you like it when I'm.
I love it when
away.
you're shredding, dude. This is cool.
What? All right. Well, don't want to do too much, because
that's so sick.
People will be like, "Oh man, this guy's just playing and doodling and
intermission." No,
Yeah.
it's really cool. I had to take some photos.
cutting to a commercial break.
Peripheral movement. Sorry.
Periphery, just periphery.
Is that the right way to spell it? Periphery.
That's a good question. I think there's a Y on the end.
Periphery band.
Yeah.
I'm interested. Okay, cool.
Let's see. What's
Alpha, is that a cool one?
That one is pretty good. I'm trying to think what else they have out there.
I
Let's
don't-
give it a shot.
Yeah, let's try this out. Oh, that was in like 2015. Do we need newer stuff? They're probably good no matter what.
There's no such thing as a perfect writer. This
Oh,
is why
yay.
I use Grammarly to check my work. If I'm putting commas in the wrong places, that can shift my credibility and ability to influence and persuade others.
It helped me become a better writer. And
Oh, I
not
can
be
skip
so
that
afraid
now.
to
Solid.
Oh yeah, I forgot they actually do have some interesting videos.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Very, looks like they got a couple of bucks to pay somebody to make some stuff. These guys are dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope.
Nice. Yeah, and I don't even think that was one of their bigger hits, but no, there's a lot of. Who are some of the newer bands that you like to listen to? I know we ended up at the same show not too long ago. Messer, I think.
The Messer concert, yeah.
Yeah, I love that band. They did a great job.
Messer, and there was, what was the headliner? I don't think Messer was even.
No,
the
they
headliner.
weren't the headliner, but
It's at the Olympic though.
Yeah,
The show.
yeah,
What are the bands that I'm currently into?
Yeah.
Ooh. I've been listening honestly to a lot more hip hop and have you heard of Quincy or like Mike Snow? More like a poppy.
Oh, interesting.
Like they're a little it's like a reggae hip hop, like poppy. I don't know, it's hard to describe. I don't know what the fuck they are. But they're cool.
yeah.
And then a lot of hip hop, basically anything that hits my stream on the
Gotcha.
shuffle.
Yeah.
A lot of metal. I don't know. I like Palisades. I'm trying to think off the
they're
top of my
good.
head. Palisades
Yeah.
is cool. I took a lot of really cool photos for them when they were in town.
Seriously.
Yeah, I got some really awesome photos of them with my fisheye. And then while they were on stage, which was sweet,
Yeah.
dude, like in his face. It was dope.
Wow.
And then I got, I'm trying to think who else is on my playlist right now. Dude, it's just so much music, man.
I
There's
know,
just too
there
much
is.
music. It's hard to say it off the top of my head because honestly, it's always on shuffle. I'm never
Yeah.
looking at my screen. I'm just listening to it and jamming. But locally, I've been listening to a lot of local bands. As Fire Falls released a new song in October, and I've listened to a lot of their music over the last like couple of weeks just because I haven't really downloaded their stuff, but I decided to just to hear like how different it sounds and how they've grown.
Right.
I like to do that with local bands if they're available.
Sure.
Those guys, Life Upon Liars, I've listened to some of their songs. I just recently downloaded some of their stuff. We Were Giants. They sent me a new single that they're about to release, so rocking out to that lately. But other than that, mostly, man, just hip hop and stuff. How about you?
Well, sometimes I want to go do old school, so not long ago, I think the Revolution had Seven Dust, so I went and saw them. They were
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
I used to be really into Chevelle, but as far as the newer stuff, I'm kind of like you. I find myself listening to a lot more hip hop in the car.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just always puts you in a great mood.
Do you like Hollywood Undead?
I've listened to them. I don't listen to them a lot, but if they're on, I'm certainly not going to change the channel, so to speak. But
somebody was in here, so I had a couple of rap artists in here yesterday for another show with another host, and these guys were talking about how the scene's changing to like a new like metal rap or something like that.
oh wow,
But I've heard like trap metal or something like that.
Oh, I've got to look into that.
Yeah, so I keep teasing the We Were Giants guys because they're always in here. Like,
Right.
I'm always kicking it with Blake and Logan, and I keep not necessarily teasing them, but like teasing them for real to be like, hey man, when you guys are done being like yourselves and being cool, because they're because they're always working on projects. That's what I love about those guys. They're always doing new shit, man.
Yeah.
Every time I talk to Blake, like at least every 3 or 4 days, he's working on somebody's project, or he's working on his own project, or both at the same time. He's always updating me on shit.
Yeah.
So like, anyways, I keep telling him like, hey man, let's do a Hollywood Undead, but like on steroids, and I could just rap, and you guys could just do your own parts, like sing and scream, and we could have like a triple lead band that just does a hip hop metal, kind of like a Hollywood Undead, but like just 3 dudes. So I think it'd be kind of unique. I think it'd be fun.
And do you rap at all?
I can write. I'm not a freestyler.
Oh.
Dude, I can write pretty well. I mean, I can freestyle if you get enough like enough drinks in me. No, I'm not terrible at it. I think my problem with freestyling, if I were to freestyle, because I do it a lot, like when I'm at parties with friends and stuff like that, because they always freestyle, and I have a lot of rappers in here.
Oh, gotcha.
And they're always freestyling. I think my problem is I overthink it. Like I think sometimes my words are too big to to put into a rhyme. Yeah, because to me, I'm very over analytical, so it's hard for me to like just flow. I usually think fairly, as you could see, I almost stuttered right there. I usually think fairly far ahead before I actually say something. And by far ahead, I mean I think about like 2 words in advance so that I really don't fuck up.
No, I totally get it. My hat's off to those guys. Anyone that can rap and be able to just freestyle it off the top of their head like that is just crazy.
Well, in the vernacular, and like just their vocabulary, the ones who know how to use it too. Sometimes the problem is like I may not be the greatest when it comes to like a freestyle, right? But like when somebody is freestyling and they say something that sounds absolutely ridiculous, that's the thing that I think about when I'm freestyling. Is this going to make sense? And that's why I stumble when I freestyle. When in reality, some of them just say stupid shit that doesn't even make sense. It just rhymes, and people are like, "Oh, what?" But I have I've had a couple guys in here. They're meshing. It's like kind of like a trap style with like a reggae with like a rock. And they're kind of blending all those styles together. They were on here earlier. It's a guy named Shift Changer and Illiterate.
Oh, wow.
And by earlier, I mean like on an earlier episode. But those guys just released a single, and it's kind of changing that style of music too. It's kind of blending some very unique genres together. That's creating a pretty intricate type of a song. Like it's interesting when you break down music, you can tell how good a band actually is, and the maturity of their their skills or expertise or experience.
And it's so interesting how genres kind of shift, because there for a while, I mean, everything was like I remember when One Republic came out, for example, and so everything kind of followed that style. And then there was the singer-songwriter stuff that was really popular for a while, and but hip-hop and rap seemed to be pretty consistent. Only seemed like a lot of the rappers just kept getting better and better as far as how they wrote music, how they interpreted music. It became less about any kind of sampling. It was also original, and that was always kind of enjoyable. And it's interesting how it kind of makes you wonder, where is music going? And I think some of it has to be a collective. So
it has to. Yeah. Well, most music's a collective. It all comes from music, right? Like rock is a blend of everything.
Probably jazz and blues.
Jazz and blues were the base for sure. That's definitely where it stemmed from. But as rock itself has matured, you've seen it go from just rock and roll.
Yeah.
Then you get like your heavy metal, and then you get your death metal and your
Yeah.
speed metal, and everything breaks out and branches off on the metal side.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and then everything branches out on the country side, and then everything
Yeah.
branches out on the blues and jazz, and then everything blends back in underneath.
Very
It's
true.
crazy.
Now, did you go to Metallica when they were here?
I did.
Oh, and
That-
what'd you think? I've seen them before, but wasn't able to make it this last time.
I don't go to any concerts that big ever.
Oh,
I've never seen like that big of a person before, or that big of a band. So I thought, as far as the performance went, with like the drone show and like the TVs and stuff, it was way cooler than anything I've ever seen. And I thought it was really, I thought it was like a really great show. The music sounded good. The acoustics were good.
Yeah.
I've heard mixed reviews from everybody. Everybody that I've talked to has been split one way or the other. I didn't think it was that good, or it was awesome.
Yeah.
I would say it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it wasn't awesome, because it was better than any other show that I'd seen, as far as, you know, the technicality of the performance. But I don't know, I haven't seen Gore, so have you seen those guys?
You know, I haven't either. You know, they've come a couple of times, but no.
I think they're coming again.
Are they?
Soon. Yeah. You want to go?
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That'd be interesting.
It's like a circus, man.
Yeah.
Don't they get all crazy,
I
like
think they
dressed
do.
up and have like, they do a full blown show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
should be
costume.
fun.
Man, that must be hot.
Oh man. Yeah, how is it on stage, by the way? Does it get hot up there?
You know, it can. It depends on the stage. You know,
Yeah.
we've been kind of spoiled here in Boise because we've got the Revolution, and then we have the Knitting Factory. I hope Knitting Factory's back up and running soon, because, you know, we kind of miss having some of the bands come through and play there. But yeah,
Have you
I got to
been
get out more.
Yeah, have you been to Death Proof Coffee? Have you seen their stage and their setup?
I haven't.
Have you heard of them?
I think I've heard the name. I'm just not that familiar with who they are.
They've got a pretty sweet venue.
Do they?
Yeah, they've got like a decent stage.
Oh, cool.
It's like, I'm trying to think of the capacity. I'm gonna say they probably have like a couple hundred capacity.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty big. Maybe like
Interesting.
500. But when you walk in, the stage is cool. They've got a bunch of like LEDs and lights in the background that are like fixed on the wall and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know, as far as like the one show that I went to and I snapped a bunch of photos there, I thought that the setup was sick.
Oh, wow.
The only problem that I thought there was, it's just a coffee shop.
Oh, gotcha.
And when you think like, hey, we're playing at a coffee shop, people don't know that they have an actual like an actual setup, like a really nice stage, and it's actually separate from the coffee shop. So you go into the coffee shop, they just own the building. Go to the side, just through the other side, where the ticket counter is and stuff like that. You should walk in, and it's like it's a nice area.
Oh,
man.
wow.
Yeah, so
gotta go check it out then.
you should. But again, like the only problem is, you're marketing a coffee shop instead of like a Death Proof venue. Maybe would be cooler, like when you're marketing that instead of Death Proof Coffee.
Sure.
So when I think like a coffee shop band or a coffee shop person, it's like somebody sitting in the corner with a bunch of coffee beans around them, and they're just jamming on like an acoustic guitar. That's literally what I think. Yeah. So I think, if you know, they obviously need to change up the way they market, but it's a dope venue. And they do support a lot of the local talent, so that's important.
Oh, that is important.
Totally. How'd you guys start out here? Did you just automatically?
You know, it was a interesting thing. When I was down at HP, everybody actually was HP employees. It turned out there was just like this group of musicians that were kind of hanging around, and then some of us got to talking and saying, hey, we should actually get together and maybe jam. And there for a while, I think HP had like converted a Kmart building or something into a whole big office complex. And so we asked if we could actually go down and play on the weekends when nobody was in there. And they gave us permission. And so we were in their cafeteria setting up and jamming. And then it just kind of evolved from there. And pretty soon we had a band that was going. Initially, we had a singer named Dan Costello, who's very, prominent here in the Boise Valley now. as more of an acoustic performer, but he was incredibly talented and had just an amazing voice. And the next thing you knew, we had a band. And I remember one night we had this rare opportunity where we actually got to play, I think it was Third Eye Blind was the main headliner, and it was back in the day when they were selling out concerts everywhere. And so we were like at the B of A Center and got to open for them in there for a sold out venue. And
That's crazy.
it was like a movie. You just can't imagine what it's like, because the lights were completely off. No one knew we were local. We walked on stage. You hear the roar of the people before the lights go on, and then when you start playing, then it just elevates even further. And so it was just one of those surreal experiences that you just never expect.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I want to be that good on guitar. I want to be good enough to be in a band.
Yeah.
I want to be on stage someday.
There you go. You
Yeah.
can make it happen.
I really do. Of course
truly
I can
believe
make it
it.
happen. Fuck yeah, I can make it happen. It's just making sure that I set aside the time to make sure it happens. you
Yep.
know? Like, I know I'm physically capable of making that happen.
Yeah.
Like, just need to make sure that I dedicate myself.
Yeah.
That's the issue. So obviously, projects on projects.
And there's
it
so
goes.
much going on. And,
Yeah.
and aren't you doing MMA still? Are you involved in any of that?
January, I'll be back at it.
Are you?
Boxing. I just do
You're doing boxing?
Just straight boxing.
Nice.
So that's what I've
Yeah,
been
I'm
doing.
admiring your Muhammad Ali poster
Yeah.
up here. And
It's popular, people like that.
yeah, and of course we ran into each other when we did the George Foreman event. And
Yeah.
so we had an opportunity to help produce that. But of course it took a village to get it done. And we
That
were
was a cool
involved.
event.
Oh, it was so cool. And he was such a gracious individual.
Yeah.
And we just never knew he was involved in all this humanitarian stuff. So he was so deserving of that WSC Humanitarian Award.
And what kind of stuff does he do?
So one of the things that we found out about him when we were doing our research is he had spent like 35 years working with troubled youth in the youth
Whoa.
ministries, and he was a huge promoter of actually the Job Corps. And, it was just, and he is so gracious. Of course, he's been a minister for,
I was just
years
gonna say
now.
that,
And
yeah.
but when he got up on stage and was actually, relating his gratitude and everything, and telling the stories of how, he kind of molded to become somebody, and, and became this legendary boxer. I mean, it was just incredible. And then when you heard Jim Lampley from HBO Sports get up there and tell all about it, and the big matches that he had been, that he fought, is just an incredible experience. And the night before, I actually got to go have dinner with him over at Chandler's, and just to have that opportunity with some of my friends, when we were
Wait, that was
helping
where I saw
produce
you.
that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we got like the guest spots on the side.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. Yeah, good opportunity.
Max
yeah.
Muhammad was just buying us drinks.
Yeah. Oh, was he?
yeah.
Max is so great.
Yeah. Glass of cognac. All right.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
Yep, definitely.
How did you guys even get involved in that?
So, ironically, there's a couple of people, and I mentioned this before, that I have business partners right now. So we have a company that's called 6 Degrees Management that was founded by Roma Newton, and my other partner is Trinity May. And we started this company and also a nonprofit called Inner Beauty. And we just started, we were looking for a platform that could kind of help us. And so there's actually a national holiday called Inner Beauty Day, and they've done some really amazing work in Hollywood. I think the year before they were promoting awareness for human trafficking, and we're tied in with that movie Trafficked that starred Ashley Judd. And it was a very worthy cause, but when Roma approached me about possibly doing some other work to really, help out nonprofits, I loved the concept that she was pitching to me, and I wanted to be involved, and we were good friends already. And of course, when I told Trinity about it and wanted her to come meet up with us, she jumped right on it, because it's, she's such a good person, and she's such a giver and always, has that spiritualness to her as well. And it just was a good fit for all of us. And because realistically, once you get to know us, we're really big on wanting to give back. And, this was kind of an outlet that would allow us to do that. And so, Trinity actually knew Max Mohammadi really well and had set up an appointment to have him consult us. And as we were sitting around talking to him in a restaurant, it just kind of came to him that, hey, there's this opportunity to help out with this George Foreman event. And all of us have our own specialties on how we produce. And, me being a musician, I know everything about lighting and that sort of thing. And the next thing you know, we're out, hustling, trying to put this show together and, in support. And the cool thing was with Roma, she got on the phone and started contacting all these celebrities to put together a tribute video. And boy, by the end of the show, I remember the big miracle was we were kind of concerned that, we hadn't sold a lot of tickets, but that night it was like movie night for everybody, and then people just showed up. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. And George Foreman himself was so touched, by the whole experience. And I remember even the day before we were worried about how we were going to get the actual trophy that we were presenting to him done in time. And because it just, and we had this gorgeous glass trophy, and Roma found somebody in the mall that his name was Ryan that offered to do it for us. And there were so many people that just stepped up to make it happen. And
was it a donation? Was it donated?
No, that one we actually had to come up with some money that we fronted, but we did get some people that
backing for it.
Yeah, did come in and backed us, but we were the ones that were kind of working on trying to get the sponsors and everything as far as supporting, cool this event. Yeah. So, but it all worked out and it was great. And then it launched the ability to really kind of make some great friendships out of that. And we became really good friends with George Foreman's attorneys, which interestingly enough, were responsible for the George Foreman Grill. And and we end up finding out that they represent a lot of other A-listers and that sort of thing. So, and later on, they invited us down to their Beverly Hills home. And I mean, some of the people I shared this story with, I was literally handing out candy from this Beverly Hills home on Halloween, and with my friends there and my business partners. And while we were having dinner with like these studio heads of huge studios, I won't go into who they were, but I was like, I can't believe I'm here tonight.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
That's way cool. Take me next time.
Yeah.
I want to be.
Oh, we definitely need to go down to L.A. though. L.A.
we
is
should.
So fun.
Yeah, I'm down. You tell me when. I block that out, man. I will make sure it happens.
Absolutely.
I will get the money. I will get the time.
That's right.
That'd be a blast.
Totally.
So much fun. What else you got going on?
So we have that one big project coming on, and so that pretty much is taking all my time and our partner's time, and we're really excited about what we're putting together. And we've been traveling a lot. So like when I was in New York, I actually got to meet Dr. Drew, that some people know, and he's such a great guy. Some of the other people we've been working with is his name's Darren Prince, who's actually one of the premier A-list agents in Los Angeles, who actually has a book out right now called Aiming High, and his life story is just incredible. So if anyone's looking for a good read, they need to go check out that book, because it's just, I've read it and it's great. It keeps you riveted as you're reading through it. He was an individual that was at the top of his game and represented everyone from, Dennis Rodman and, to Charlie Sheen and there's a lot of A-listers that his agency actually represents. But the interesting thing is he realized he had a problem with opiates, and now he's going out and speaking against opiate addiction and, the dangers. And so he's got just this wonderful giving story that, he's campaigning for at this point in time in his life. So very giving individual. And
That's cool.
yeah.
Opiate epidemic, man.
Yes.
Holy shit. Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I think Magic Johnson's been helping him as well, kind of spread the message. So,
That's good.
He's getting a lot of really good backing. So
Did they declare that like a national emergency? What do they call that?
no, I know what you're talking about, but not that I'm aware of. But yeah, we've
Definitely an epidemic, though.
Yeah.
And it's recognized for sure.
Yeah.
It's really sad. I've lost friends to it, so.
Yeah.
And I've seen people pretty much lose everything except for their life.
Well, and
Most definitely.
some of us have actually, I mean, a lot of times people are trying to self-treat themselves, and that's what's really sad. So, a lot of people don't have the money to get out and get the proper treatment for depression and anxiety, and a lot of people don't know that that's what they're suffering from. But sadly, I've personally lost 2 friends to depression, and you just never expect it. And, it's crazy. So if there's an opportunity through our nonprofit to kind of, bring up the awareness and, maybe help people that are suffering from it, then, I'm really thrilled to be a part of that. So
My business partner with my nutrition company and the host of my ProEdge podcast show, he is working with some organizations to do a campus project. It's called Shot at Dawn.
Oh, wow.
And it's like basically like a rehabilitation center for veterans who have like instead of sending them to prison or jail, they have like addictions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
As far as it's like, I'm going to say, and I should know this, but as long as it's like a non-aggressive type of a crime, right?
Right.
Like, then I think it's a rehab center so people don't take their lives. Like the cost of sending somebody to jail, or the cost of putting them through different programs. Essentially,
Sure.
the traditional way of doing it right now it's not working, and so he's got this whole business plan. It's like, dude, it's like 40 pages thick, man.
Oh,
It's
man.
crazy. But yeah, it's like I want to say it's like a $50 million project he's working on.
Wow.
It's all suicide awareness. It's all like depression, PTSD. It's veterans. It's like specifically for veterans. But I mean, if you wanted to talk to him about something that you guys could invest in as far as like something.
No,
or
absolutely.
work with somebody on
In
something
fact,
like
I'd
that.
like to find out more. So maybe after this podcast,
Yeah, I'll
we
just
can
forward you
chat.
his info
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, it's a really cool project. If I had like $10 million, I'd give it to him. But I don't.
Sure. Well, you never know. Maybe in the future, that's one of the things that we could potentially be doing. So,
Yeah, and he wants it to be like privately funded.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, as far as like investors and stuff like that.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, dude, that's what's up, man. You want to give? We can wrap this up. It's getting a little late. It's like 10:20.
Sure.
Unless you got something else you want to talk about or jam on.
Sure. I'll finish up with a little bit of jamming and shredding, but
Should.
yeah. Can't think of anything right offhand other than, just live the dream. I mean, and you got to just work for it. But if I could encourage anybody out there that's interested in whether it be music, acting, producing, writing, art, I mean, whatever your passion is, I can tell you I'm so much happier focused on what my passion is, which, primarily is acting. And, that's where I hope, doors continue to open, because it's just something that I find so fulfilling. And it's not easy to give up a career. There's been times I've had to go jump back into the career because, you got to put food on the table. But, there comes a point too where you just have to have the faith that, things are going to work out. And a lot of times they do. Sometimes they don't, but
Most of the time they do, though.
Yeah, most of the time they do, and you just find a way, and it's so worth it and so satisfying. So I think if there's a message I could share tonight, that'd probably be it. At least it seems to be working for me right now.
Totally. Do you have any shout outs? Where can people find you if they want to follow your acting page, music, whatever?
Yeah, so I'm in most of the social media there's Facebook is always there. There's Instagram. Not a Twitter person though.
Yeah,
So
I don't think anybody's really a Twitter person.
nah.
Unless they're like teenagers.
I was gonna do Snapchat, but I just feel like that's for the kids. So
Kind of. Yeah, it really is. I don't really do Snapchat anymore.
yeah,
It's mostly just Instagram and Facebook for
Yeah.
me. Well, we're old.
yeah, that's right.
It's too much shit going on, man.
Yeah.
I can only stick to one, and they have to link to each other, so I don't have to waste time on
Yeah,
both of them.
Too
Right?
much work.
Right.
But yeah, you got to kind of network. And,
Totally.
one of the things I do actually love about Facebook is I've gotten to know people from around the world and literally make friends. And some I've actually met. And I mean, it's just been kind of a cool opportunity to keep in touch, especially with my friends down in Costa Rica. So
I wonder what's after Facebook. I've been wondering this since MySpace days.
Oh, yeah.
Once Facebook took over MySpace, because
Yeah.
now MySpace, and I forgot to ask you this question too, because I know like MySpace is still a platform for music. So I was going to ask you if
does
you do
anybody
music
use
there.
it anymore?
I don't think anybody does.
No, I remember years ago it was like the biggest thing, and somehow they screwed it up. But
Yeah, like many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
or people just got tired of bands hitting them up to like their page. I don't know.
Right.
So
Yeah, well, I just good old MySpace days. I remember some of my favorite old bands, Hollywood Undead. That's a MySpace
yeah.
band. Yeah, they were on MySpace Records back in
yeah,
the
that's
day.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
MySpace was, and I think it still is, like the largest online music database.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Well, and they almost needed it because with MTV getting away from any kind of video type format and
Getting away from anything that made
Yeah.
them popular.
exactly.
I haven't watched MTV in like
Yeah.
10 years.
I haven't either. It's all reality.
They're talking
based
about
now.
like
Yeah.
16-year-olds getting pregnant.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I don't care. I'm 33. Who gives a fuck? That girl, sorry, but
I
I don't care about a 16-year-old getting pregnant. Show me some music videos.
Yeah, right. I
Where
think
can you
somebody
watch
should
music
have picked
videos
it
now?
up. Yeah,
YouTube? Like, is that the only place you can watch it?
I think
music
so.
video? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like music videos, though. Especially
Well,
creative ones.
Yeah, if they're creative and they're good, and I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are filmmakers. I mean, that's a great way to, kind of express yourself as well in
And
videos.
supplement your,
yeah,
supplement your income if you
Yeah,
have like a slow
definitely.
season. Yeah, totally. But,
yeah.
Sweet, man. Do you want to shred? We'll have you shred in just a second after
Okay.
we close out. So,
All right, man.
anyways, everybody, make sure you subscribe. Give us 5 stars. Again, this is Brett Dayne. Go ahead and search him, find him. He is the man. Pass the episode along, and make sure that you have a wonderful rest of your day.
Yeah, and Tim, thanks so much for having me. It's been fun, and let's hang out.
Oh, dude, most definitely. We're going to LA.
Yeah.
We totally are. And another concert soon.